Okay, I've got myself up out of bed. The clonazepam's kicked in, and I've had a beer. And I think the Ritalin might have kicked in. And so I have this. I'm gonna put makeup on and stuff like that because it's like, this is my time to shine, I guess, and I don't know. And you know, one could be forgiven for thinking that I've got like a tussled bedhead, but it's just not. Like, just look at this shit. And it's at the point where like, and I think it's, you know, I don't think it's just my fault for not combing my hair. It's, it really is like the hard water here. Like my hair is, it runs in my family on both sides for women, and it doesn't help that I'm in Christchurch post-earthquake. So that's why I buy all this water to fucking, well, you know, partly it's to stop the eczema and the, I mean, it's not eczema, it's a dermatitis. So eczema's, I think, a fungal sort of thing. It's not that, but it's like, it feels to me like I've taken this clip out that's been holding my hair together for several days. Like, I just feel like at this point, like, I just treat my hair like dreadlocks and just tip like soapy water through it. I don't know, like, should I even bother trying to fucking comb it? Like, or should I just, like, do what the fucking dicks in the 50s and 60s did with the fucking beehive, where, I mean, I don't know how to put together a beehive, but I think at this stage, like, I'm just going to give up on trying to fucking comb my fucking hair. I don't even know what's in there, to be honest. Yeah, like, I don't think trying to deal with long hair is really at the top of my priorities. But like, I don't think that looks very good. But I'm wearing a, man, this skirt used to be my my skinny skirt, and now it's like, you know, like it's got a waistband. That's what it's supposed to be. I assumed I would have gained weight by now because I've started eating, but I think I'm still losing weight. Yeah, so I don't know what's happening, but nothing good. So I'm just gonna take a picture of me putting myself, like, look at this, this is like, you'd think that there's like this is just insane. I can now smell my hair. It's not gross, but it's just the smell of hair, so I'm gonna, I've actually to the absolute horror of Mitchell, who is a, you know, ladies' man. I mean, he's a fucking dickwad, but, you know, he one thing is true, he is a chick magnet. To my horror, I mean to Mitchell's horror and my delight, because I did like kind of horrifying Mitchell. I mean, I liked being attractive to him, but I also loved subverting that attraction as well. And I really enjoyed telling him that I had run out of dry shampoo. And this was when I was really incapacitated, and he was my official, you know, not, there's a name for it. It's like when you're allowed to go on home leave, you've got to have officially appointed a someone who's responsible for you, who's answerable to, I guess, the overseer of the Mental Health Act, you know, like to meet curfews and stuff. Like, they can take you out, but you can't go out by yourself. And so I spent Christmas Day with him, And so, I mean, my hair is a fucking nightmare. Like, you don't need to have a mental health problem to not want to deal with my hair. There's like loads and loads of people in my both of my bloodlines who can't deal with their hair. But I do have dry shampoo because sometimes that's all I can do. Because it's a fucking rigmarole washing and drying this hair. God, maybe I should just cut it off today. Maybe that would be a cool thing to do. I don't know, but I don't really want to do that. I don't think it's going to do anything for my declarations of sanity. But yeah, I horrified Mitchell by telling him that I had used like spray hand sanitizer in my ear. It has a really nice smell. I'm thinking I might do that now because I can't find my dry shampoo, and the trouble with dry shampoo, even those, it's right here, even those that claim to not leave a white sort of film, they do leave a white film, so you can't just spray it on, like they're meant to be combed through, and it's like the combing is the fucking problem. Whereas I just want my hair not to smell gross. It's not gross. It's just, I don't know. I don't care. So I might do that. But I'm also going to do another little makeup thing, which I may as well do, because who gives a shit? I'm doing what I want to do. But I'm not going to do it where I'm using, that was when I was went out to look for Tommy, and I was actually wearing this skirt when I did that, but I was wearing a t-shirt, but it's really hot today. And yeah, so I've got you propped up against the mirror in my bathroom, so I'm not going to use my camera to try and, because I don't know how to use makeup really, but I know that I've experimented a bit and I've lost my fear of it because I don't want to look like a clown and I don't want to look like Martin dressed as lamb, but I also know that when I use it properly I do look better, and I think why not do that for myself. Now I've had close-ups where I've shown this. Now I actually do take really good care of my skin, and taking care of your skin is a really simple process. It's not what people think it is. Do you know what it is? You just protect it from the sun, and that's all you have to do. So I wear sunscreen every fucking day of my life. I might take 3 days off a year or something, but it's every day of my life. And even people who wear sunscreen every day, they tend to use it in a tinted moisturiser, or if they use actual sunscreen that has a 15 SPF 15 does nothing. Sorry, it does nothing. It protects your, basically the SPF factor just means it's 15 times your natural skin's protection. And if you've got dark skin from living in, from having evolved to live in tropical climates, such as, in most African countries and in a lot of Asian countries. A lot of Japanese and Korean women have very pale skin, like paler than mine. This is my real skin colour, and you can see that as well. Like, that is my skin colour. So I went to a dermatologist as a just part of my a renal treatment, because in Wellington the department is called renal, One's Greek, one's Italian. Here it's nephrology. I've had virtually no contact with the nephrology department here because I haven't had the time. I really haven't. The harassment's been so intense. I've had to neglect all of my physical health, but my kidney just seems like it's fucking... I reckon my kidney, I think Edgar Allan Poe can probably write about my kidney. If he were alive, I should probably bury it under the floorboards because it's going to keep living long after I'm fucking dead. That thing and I are not the same entity. I took a long time after receiving the kidney, which was 2016, for me to stop calling it the kidney and calling it my kidney. That was a big transition for me, because it's not mine. It belongs to some guy. Well, it belonged to some guy, and we were pretty sure about that because it was let slip that it was a very large kidney that would probably, would not really be possible to have come from a female. I think even a very tall, large female probably couldn't naturally have a kidney that big because women are built very differently. You don't get like a 6-foot woman who has the same proportions as a 6-foot man. Remember that we've got to make room for all kinds of other stuff in there, a uterus and all that kind of stuff. So so it was let slip a little bit. They're not supposed to give you any details about a deceased donor, but I mean, I think it was a young guy. It was definitely a guy, and the kidney was caused me quite a bit of. It's weird. Like I was talking. I don't know if I've uploaded this the other day, but I probably should. I'll upload everything actually over coming days. I think I don't think I'm going to be having a good time if I don't do those things because that's survival mode for me. I can't suddenly go into relaxation, but I can do the things that I want to do, not the things that I think I have to do. But I was just talking about how I can't even remember. See, that's how bad my memory is. It's so bad. The kind of trauma I'm in often leads to the kind of damage that causes early onset dementia. Maybe not Alzheimer's, I don't know, but dementia. And dementia's a very physical thing. Like it's not psychiatric. It's if you do brain scans, and people die of dementia, right? It's a systemic, or at least it's a physical. It's a physiological problem. It's not psychiatric. It's very, very, very sad. And I've met dementia patients in the different ward that my dad's, who did not have dementia. Well, I don't know. His mum died of dementia. And the reason we fell out before he died and only reconciled when he told me his cancer was back, and that was his doing his loving duty to me. And I've said previously, whether or not in YouTube videos or not, that, we were estranged because we had reached loggerheads or something, and we were never mates, and I was fairly disrespected by him, but he loved me, and he really did love me, he failed, he failed in loving me perfectly, but he loved me, and that he really, really, really wanted the best for me and acted for the best for me most of the time, even though he was often mistaken about what the best for me was, and then sometimes would get in these extremely juvenile male snits where he would like there were situations that he really let me down, but he was the only family that I've ever had. That doesn't mean that I have a standard that says family can't do any wrong. Not at all. He did a lot wrong, but family is there to support you genuinely.
It's the only one, and he's gone. And then I do say that my granddad, who was my mother's father, he was the only other one, and he and Ivan were quite different. But they were very similar in ways that made me realise that, well, Wendy did really kind of, you know, she did kind of marry her father in a way, in a very different way. Like, you know, Granddad was in the army, and he was, you know, he was a senior engineer for Ministry of Works, and everything was really regimented with him. And, you know, he not only was he an active relaxer, I don't think relaxing was in his vocabulary, you know, like I don't think he was capable of it. And Wendy always said he was a catastrophizer, which I never picked up on, but was probably quite true. And that would be the sign of an uber neurotic person. Neurotic being the clinical term for, you know, extremely conscientious to the point that causes a lot of, you know, it's very uncomfortable for the person who suffers that. And, you know, it could be that he had like a kind of OCD, if not OECPD, which is obsessive compulsive personality disorder. I don't know, but he's a very honourable man, and there's virtually no differing in opinion about that. So yeah, and my nana maybe loved me. I don't know. My nana was a dark horse, as many said, and it's not like Granddad was loaded or anything, but she certainly never had to do any real work. You know, like, of course raising 5 kids is real work, but, you know, like, Granddad was the one who was always, he would always be the safety net for everything, you know. And I think Nana's cleaning and cooking and ability to sit and that kind of thing, like, I think that was ADHD, and you know, her distance. And my mum has said, and I really feel for my mum, that you know, she said, you know, Mum, Peggy, Margaret, hey, and then Prophet, Peggy, no, not Margaret. Yeah, I think that was from her middle name, Beatrice, Margaret, Hay, and then Prophet. So Peggy came from Margaret, but her first name was Beatrice, but she was called Peggy. And my mum, whom as I said, I love and I have a great deal of sympathy for, and I've said this to people, and, you know, Terry, my neighbour, said, you know, what about your family? And I said, I don't have family. I said, well, I have relatives, but I don't have whānau, you know. But she still went through, you know, the different kinds of people in your family, like your mum, your dad, your brothers, yeah. And I'm like, you know, like, I don't want to disrespect people for just having that normal understanding of what family means, but I have said to people before, yes, I have considered the people I know when I say I have no one, you know. And because Terry's Maori, you know, like, I have made that you know, as I say, whānau is used in different ways, and I'm not saying it has different definitions exactly, but it's certainly used in different ways. So, you know, like I've said, yeah, I have family, but I have no whānau, and whānau has a connotation of a support network, but it also has a denotation of a broader community, including, you know, like you call people aunt and you know, auntie or cousin or whatever when they're not blood relatives, and you'll call you know, there'll be a lot of like kuia that you would call nana or whatever, you know, when they're not related to you. But I don't have any of that. I've got nobody. And like to ask me about my brothers, oh fuck, like seriously, I know what I'm talking about. When I say I'm alone, I don't need to have prompting of the kinds of people who, you know, the varieties of people that exist in a family. And I've got a big family, a big extended family, not dissimilar from maybe a kind of you know, Maori whānau type of arrangement, but those are not, you know, that's that one sense of whānau where it's a big extended thing, and there are people who are part of that who are like family but are not family by blood or marriage or anything like that. They can be close friends of people, or, you know, there's my godmother and, you know, the person I all my life called my god brother, but there's no such thing as a god brother. It was just, you know, it's Carl, my godmother's son, and she's a Catholic, Roman Catholic, and she's a god botherer, as many narcissists are. There's a particular kind of narcissism and even sociopathy that's centred on religious sort of obsession, but she's just got no loving bone in her body. And Carl was my best friend when I was little. I feel like I'm more of and many, you know, I've often said, you know, I am a girl's girl or a woman's woman, but I'm not, but women don't really feel the same way about me. And I find men more accepting, but by the same token, I find men just don't understand. So, you know, they can accept me as, you know, I get on quite easily with men, but then I am still a woman, and there are complexities that men can't understand about life. And to be honest, it's not just a difference, like they are much more suicidal than we are, and their support networks are much worse. And I had a boyfriend who was much older than me, so when I was 32, when we met, he was 42, and he had 3 little kids, including a baby. And seriously, like he and his ex, who and they were not married, but they produced 3 kids in 6 years, I think, or 4 years. I'm not quite sure. And they did live together. I mean, they had a de facto marriage, but they never had that sort of ceremony, so there was no divorce, there was just a separation. And Charlin, would talk about the divorce, and I'm like, Charlin, you can't talk about a divorce. And he said, well, it was like a divorce. And I said, no, it's not like a divorce, because a divorce includes a separation. It's just that a divorce has legal aspects that doesn't default to common law that you actually have to work out in court. So no, a divorce is not like a separation, because a divorce is a separation plus a whole lot of other legal bullshit. You guys just separated, and of course you need to have legal, you know, sometimes people have to appoint lawyers to manage child you know, access and that kind of thing, and, you know, marital property, because there is a common law, you know, like after a certain period or under certain circumstances, de facto marriages are treated as legal marriages, but there's no divorce. There's no divorce. It's not a, divorce doesn't come into it. Divorce is not the only legal process in a de facto separation, but you do not have a divorce. And people can be legally married for fucking ever and still be separated and never go through a divorce, but go through everything else. But anyway, like, so he was a single dad. They shared custody 50-50 in the most fucked up way. Like, to start with, when I met him, we were together on and off for 2 years. They would switch kids twice a week. It's like, I said to them, you guys should really, if you guys are going to do something that retarded to your children, you guys need to keep one family home, and then you guys need to change homes, because you can't disrupt your kids that much. And eventually they ended up doing week about, or maybe even 2 weeks about. But like, that shit's just terrible for kids, you know. And I guess, you know, like, yeah, he was saying that as a single dad, not a solo dad, a single dad, you know, when it was his turn and he'd go and pick up the kids. And it was from, what's it called? That posh school on, oh my God, I've forgotten what it's called, but it's that Mount Vic school. Like, they lived in Mount Vic. And then he moved to Lyle Bay, and she bought a townhouse in Mount Vic. And so she sort of kept in that loop with all the mums. And she was an older mum. She would have been like my age. Because I think she was a bit older than Charlene. So I was 32, he was 42. I'm 46 now, so I'm older than he was then, and I can tell you he was not a grown-up. And she was a bitch. Maybe not a bitch. Maybe she wasn't a bitch. Like, Charlene had parents up in Otaki, or near Otaki, and they were Greek, and they grew a lot of, the climate was quite good for growing a lot of like Greek you know, I'm looking for a better word than plant, you know, foliage, flora, I don't know. Well, they had olives, they had a lot of citrus trees, they had olive trees all over the show, like, and Charlene's mum, I've got a drawback in my memory, Nadia, which, don't try to spell, definitely in the Greek alphabet, with the, you know, there's emotion at my face.